morning, good morning. I would like to take a moment to gather all of our young disciples around the screen again, whatever screen, wherever you may be. Come and worship God together. This morning, I don't know if you've done anything like this, but this week, my son and I went to the zoo. It was the first time that we've been to the zoo in a really long time. Have you been yet? If not the zoo, have you been to anywhere else right now? It feels a little different. When we went to the zoo, we had to wear masks. We didn't have to wear masks before. When we went to the zoo, some of our favorite things were closed, or they had ropes up to keep us away from them. I was so happy to be back, but a part of me was a little sad, and I missed what life had been like before. I wonder if any of you are feeling that way today. Right now, even just gathering for church like this. It's wonderful to be together, but it's kind of sad that we can't be together in person. Right now we're going through a really strange moment. Sometimes there are those moments in life where you think, wow, someday this is going to be in a history book, and some kid in school someday is going to study about us. When life gives us moments like this, it can feel really big. Does that make any sense? Some moments in our everyday feel kind of small. Other moments in our lives feel really big. And this is a big moment. It's okay if big moments are hard. But I want you to know that you are not facing this big moment by yourself. Even in this big moment, God is bigger. And you do not have to go through this without God by your side. Will you pray with me? Holy God, in all the big moments, in all the small moments of our lives, you are there. Help us to remember and help us to feel you. Help us to know that we do not walk this world alone. Amen.
Psalm 89, verses 1 through 4 and 15 through 18. I have to share, I've read these words and they bring joy to my heart. I hope they do to you also. I will sing of the Lord's great love forever. With my mouth I will make your faithfulness known through all generations. I will declare that your love stands firm forever, that you have established your faithfulness in heaven itself. You said, I have made a covenant with my chosen one. I have sworn to David, my servant, I will establish your line forever and make your throne firm through all generations. Blessed are those who have learned to acclaim you, who walk in the light of your presence, Lord. They rejoice in your name all day long. They celebrate your righteousness. For you are their glory and strength, and by your favor you exalt our horn. Indeed, our shield belongs to the Lord, our King to the Holy One of Israel. Thanks be to God.
Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it. And whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me. Anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward. "24 years ago, almost exactly to the day, Keisha Thomas was just 18 years old when the KKK came and held a rally in her hometown. Hundreds of protesters from the town showed up to tell the KKK that white supremacy and racism had no place there. At one point during the event, though, one of the rally-goers wandered onto the protesters' side of the fence, and a small group could not contain their anger anymore when they saw his Nazi tattoos and his Confederate flag t-shirt. He was quickly knocked to the ground and kicked and hit with sticks. And as people began to shout, as the mob mentality grew, they shouted, "Kill the Nazi!" Keisha, who imagine was a high school student, threw herself on top of him, protecting him with her own body. And she still, while shielding this man, shouted to the crowd, "You can't beat goodness into a person." Mark Brunner was a student photographer at the time, and he captured this remarkable moment, this iconic moment. And remarking later in an interview about what that was like, he said, "She put herself at physical risk to protect someone who would not have done the same for her." Who does that in this world? You see, Keisha Thomas is Black. And the man she shielded, the man she protected, the man she saved, at the risk of her own safety, was a white supremacist, a KKK member, a Nazi, a person calling for her annihilation. Who does that in this world? There's a show I love. It's called What Would You Do? If you haven't seen it, the best way to describe it is it's like candid camera, but with moral dilemmas. Actors play out some ethically challenging scenario, and hidden cameras then capture what the regular, everyday people around them do to respond to it. Some of the scenarios are really funny. For example, what would you do if the person at the next table was speaking really loudly on their cell phone? Would you say something? Or would you eavesdrop? Or what would you do if you witnessed a waitress drop the customer's food without them noticing and then try to serve it to them? Don't worry, they are all actors. It's all pre-COVID. Everyone's fine. But what would you do? I will tell you that this show makes me more than a little paranoid. Whenever I encounter some situation in life like this, I find myself first looking around to see if there are hidden cameras waiting in the bushes. I know that God is always watching me, but for some reason, a pack of hidden cameras jumping out feels even more intimidating. But it makes me wonder, if this was the scenario before you, what would you do? If I am being honest, when I examine my heart and my soul, I don't know. I hear the story or a story like this and I think, wow, that is beautiful. That is really inspiring. And I would like to hope and to imagine that I would be so brave and so loving and so merciful and so heroic. But would I really? Or more likely, in any scenario like this that requires such great courage and risk, would I simply watch from the sidelines, so frozen and scared that I wouldn't know what to do? Or, most likely, would I even be there fighting for justice at all? Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it. And whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. Once upon a time, long, long ago, early Christians took these words of profound sacrifice and danger and risk quite literally. The disciples once heard these words and they were so moved that they left their old lives behind to follow this man called Jesus all the way to a cross, and then even beyond. The desert fathers and mothers like Anthony the Great once heard these words and were then inspired to go and sell everything they had, to donate all of their funds to the poor, and then to live lives in total dedication to God. Martyrs once heard these words and were then so convicted that they refused to bow down to any other lord, even at the cost of their very lives. Others still hear these words and follow them fearlessly. I think of Martin Luther King Jr. as he marched and preached all in Christ's name, so that all could be recognized as equal children of God. We see him as such a hero now that we forget just how dangerous that was, just how risky that was, just how profoundly heroic that was. For he followed the footsteps of Christ. He followed these words, even at the cost of his very life. Who does that in this world? And yet I hear these words and I wonder, what would I dare to sacrifice for Christ? I don't know. And I admit that I don't know. I admit that with a deep sense of humility. You know, we never really know what we would do in any given moment until we come face to face with that moment. We can say what we would do all we would like, but until we face it, we don't know. But in truth, if I am being honest with myself, what have I ever really sacrificed to follow Christ? I live an admittedly very comfortable life. And I admit, I really like the comfort of my life. But there are certain moments in history. Okay, every moment is a moment in history, I guess. Every moment is a moment when a pack of hidden cameras can pop out of the bushes. But you know what I mean. There are certain defining moments in our lives and in the collective history of the world when we will look back and others will ask us, what did you do? And this moment feels like one of those moments. And so we have a choice to make today, right now. What will we do? What will I do? What will you do? What will this church do? Not every moment will call us to great acts of heroism. But every single moment of our lives asks us to make a choice. How will we serve God and others right now? There's a quote I love from an inspirational nun named Mother Angelica. You probably have seen her on TV, even if you don't remember it. She was very famous for a long time. And she said once, and I love this, I absolutely love this. She said, if you're wondering how you measure up as a Christian, ask yourself this. Was I kind today? Was I compassionate today? Was I forgiving today? Today, you and I and all of us have a choice. In small ways and some really big ways. So I ask, today, will we be brave? Today, will we be bold and courageous? Will we be kind and compassionate? Will we fight for justice? Will we sacrifice the comfort of our lives to follow wherever Christ will lead us? Will we bring hope to a world that so often feels so hopeless? Will we bring light to the world that is so often surrounded by such darkness? And today, will we step up and be heroic when the moment calls for it? Even if that just means that today I bravely and boldly share my faith with another. Even if that just means today I came here, I chose to be here to celebrate and worship God in this way so that I can stay safely home and protect the lives of others. Even if that means today I choose to wear a mask because I so love my neighbor. Even if that just means today I helped someone in some small way, then perhaps tomorrow I won't remember, but they may remember. Even if that just means today I dreamed and I hoped and I envisioned a better world. All that the world could be. And I took that very first step to make that hope a reality. Every single moment of our lives gives us a choice. And each of those choices, those small sacrifices and those big heroic moments, comes together to make up our life. This is the life that we present to God. What will you